3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Welcome to Mission Control, Peralta Design's podcast on all things branding and digital marketing. Since 2008, Peralta Design has launched hundreds of brands with award-winning identities and websites. Join our hosts Ramon and Jorge as they use decades of combined experience to tackle topics with past clients, industry partners, and the rest of the PD crew. At Peralta Design, we launch brands. But for now, let's launch right into this episode of Mission Control.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mission Control, where we respect the grind and reclaim the American dream. I am your host, Ramon Peralta from Peralta Design, and we launch brands. I'm very excited today. We have a special guest. This man is built like Bruce Lee. Okay, I've seen him without a shirt on. Okay, he's a fitness guru. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's someone who's quickly risen to the level of community leader. He started his own community gym, and he's quickly grown that to be so much more. Please help me welcome the founder of Level Up in Stratford, Connecticut, Mr. Malcolm Wilson.
Thank you, Ramon. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, thanks for being here, Malcolm. Tell us your backstory.
Yeah, so my backstory, I'm not originally from Connecticut. I originally grew up in Bronx, New York, and I was raised in mainly a single family home. My father left out when I was around 12 years old. And then my mom stepped up and she had to work many jobs to just make ends meet. Mm-hmm. And I just always just saw her just grinding and just working just somehow, some way, we always ate, we always had enough clothes and we made it through. And then I moved out to Connecticut. I got an opportunity from my aunt and uncle. They recently moved out to Connecticut, and I was living in the Bronx. We lived in Idlewild Projects at the time, and so they saw me trying. Right, I was playing basketball. I was doing sports, and they saw me trying. So they brought me out to Connecticut and changed my whole environment. Wait a minute. This sounds a lot like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's similar to that plot. Except it was the Bronx to Connecticut instead of, Philly to...
Wow, man. So that must have been something. And how old were you again when you did that?
At that time, I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was 16 and my uncle was a really wise, sharp dude.
Yeah.
And my aunt sharp, and they just really installed just like life lessons into me, and I was into a better environment, better school. I went to Brian McMahon High School in Norwalk, so that may not be the best school in Connecticut, but compared to the Bronx, it was way better, way better.
Yeah.
So, through to just changing my environment was a big step to just changing my life. And then once I was done with college, I got into a health industry, essentially selling health supplements and marketing it. And that's when I got my start into health, fitness, nutrition, and people thought I was a personal trainer, or they was like, "Oh, you should become a personal trainer." I was like, you know what, let me look into it. And I looked into it, and then I was like, this could be a great field for me. And I never looked back. So I worked in a few gyms for a few years and just soaked up all the knowledge that I could, studied all I could, found some mentors. Did as much assessments, personal training classes. I was just working crazy hours, just trying to get as much experience as I can. And shortly after, I launched I launched an online business, so which was Level Up. So we started online. We started doing nutrition plans, and we started doing fitness regimens for people online. So I was doing that part-time and still working my full-time job, just building that up.
And what year was that, man? Because you were ahead of the curve if you're building an online platform as your first venture.
Yeah, well, this is back in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, so back in 2016, so that's when the Level Up LLC first launched, um, and then from there, so there's definitely power, especially in today's age. So
Yeah.
for all entrepreneurs out there, anyone who's looking to build a business, because the barrier of entry is much lower than it was before for a lot of industries, because you got YouTube, you got social media, you got a laptop, you can start a business.
Right.
So that's exactly what I did. So you can work full time at your job and part time on your dream.
Yeah.
So,
Now, who inspired you as a kid? Did your aunt and uncle really did you ever go back to New York after you were here? Because 16 is such a pivotal age, because you can get that's where a lot of our at-risk youth, we lose them. They start driving, they start getting into trouble, they start drinking. Then at 18, you can get locked up. Some of us now are getting locked up at 16 and 17. So before we move into the business side, I just tell me what that was like, and how grateful you must be to your aunt and uncle, and maybe what inspired you. Were they entrepreneurs? Where'd you get your hustle from?
So I would say I got my wisdom from my aunt and uncle, but I got my hustle from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom, she was hustling to make ends meet, and we were doing well when my mother and father were together. I was between the ages, I was 8 and 10. People used to think we were rich. I guess we were hood rich. My mom started a daycare business,
Mm-hmm.
right? So and they did well for themselves. So once the relationship between my mom and dad got soured, and we ended up moving to Florida, my mom stopped the daycare business, and just from there things went downhill. We started to struggle, because now it went from a 2-family home into a single parent home.
Okay.
Which is super challenging, because it's challenging with, I have wife and kids now, and it's challenging with 2 parents.
Right.
So
Yeah.
imagine when my mom did, it was 4 of us. I have 2 kids.
Wow. Wow.
So but that inspired me, this her entrepreneurship, what she has done. And years later, she started up her daycare business again, and she's doing really well for herself now. So for daycare center, so it started from a family daycare right in the house. So she had it in her house, she had it in my sister's house, and then she brought it into my house. We had a home daycare at my house, because she's like, "Hey, Marco, we need this." I'm like, I'm gonna support you, Mom.
She's looking at square footage, monetizing the space, converting it into business. Now, she sounds really, really savvy, like self-taught, I would think. But did you guys have, because a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know how to get them going. Did you guys have any mentors or anybody that helped you with like getting registered with the state or getting certain permits and things like that you remember?
Mm-hmm. So as far as that, we did have some people that that helped us, but we were mainly self-taught for as far as that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, but mentorship it's extremely important. There for the daycare, there was a program called All I Can, that gave a lot of resources, gave a lot of information. And there was the Small Business Administration, which we got some information from. So just resources like that are crucial. So it can cut your time in half from you learning from trial and error.
Yeah, and I think you're, because our listeners, this particular episode we're recording remotely, and you can probably hear some of the activity in the background, which is a blessing, because that means that you have clients there at your mom's daycare. And then before we started this, you were mentioning you were there helping her. Do you find yourself kind of applying some of the lessons you learned in your business now back onto the daycare to help her kind of move it forward?
Yeah. So that's what we're doing now. So, just through all the information, the knowledge I was able to gain, me and my family, we've just been supporting each other. So it started with, when like my mother needed me to have the daycare in my space so she can grow, I allowed that. And my start for the gym was my mom had a open basement, right? And I started it there. So that was back in 2017. I took about $5,000, redid the basement, bought some equipment, and started doing personal training. I quit my job, started doing personal training, and continued the online training all from the basement
Yeah.
of my mom's house, while she had the
Awesome.
daycare upstairs. So, we worked together. And, today, I have over a 4,000 square footage space, nonprofit gym. And my mom has, and my sister has the daycare center. My brother has a trucking business, and my brother just started an embroidery business.
Wow.
We just used some of our business knowledge and finances to support each other, to help each other get to that next step.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's incredible. Now, you mentioned something. I was going to ask you how you transitioned from online to, a brick and mortar gym, and it sounds like you started in your mom's basement, which is an amazing part of your story. But let's talk a little bit about the decision to go to a nonprofit from a for-profit, because a lot of our, I certainly, when I first heard of that, was like, wow, you don't hear that every day. What was the thought process behind it, from a business standpoint, and what lessons may you share with some of our listeners about that?
So I decided to change it to a nonprofit because fitness, health, nutrition is just simply my passion, right? And it's such a need for the community that we're in, that we can just really make a difference. We can really make an impact. So I always said that whatever business I was going to be part of, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help people. So there's a quote that I love. It says, "Service to many leads to greatness." And
Awesome.
that's what I inspired to do. So we pivoted into a nonprofit because, within the Bridgeport area, certain pockets of Stratford, we live in one of the richest counties in the world, which is Fairfield County. Not the world, I'm sorry, in Connecticut. But you'll see these pockets of disparity. You'll see, people, we have some of the highest obesity rates. We have some of the highest death rates. We live in food deserts, right? There's high hypertension and heart attacks and all these chronic illnesses that are preventable and avoidable. So what these people need is, what our communities need is, we need those resources pumped into the community. We need access to good nutrition. We need access to nutrition consultations, and we need access to high quality fitness instructors and resources. So that's what we wanted to provide to the community. And we have been successfully doing that.
Yeah, I love what you're doing, man. I particularly love during the pandemic that you had a few outdoor community, almost rallies. You want to tell us a little bit about those, where you had people had booths set up and people came out from the community?
Yeah, so it started from our Black business rally. So we wanted to support minority businesses, Black-owned businesses, because simply it's not enough of us out there, and it's not enough support, it's not enough resources, not enough networking going on. And when you do as you see, right? I remember when I was younger, I only thought I had three options. It was either I was going to be a basketball player, a rapper, or a boxer. I was like, I want to be one of these three, right? So, but I didn't know people like Ramon, who was had crushing it in his business, or just people who looked like me, that who had businesses, right? So when we see that within our community, we can inspire the younger generation, and just even someone who's 30 plus, like, oh, I can do this, right? So that was the goal, to support the people who are doing it, inspire the people who are not doing it.
Yeah, awesome, man. I mean, that's why I call you a community leader, because to organize that, to use your space for that, you clearly are thinking bigger and thinking beyond just the fitness, but you've also combined the thinking, and so you've got like the nutrition aspect, the physical, but there's also a component to your training that's overall wellness. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So stress is a huge part of your wellness, right? Of being healthy. So if you're stressed, you're more than likely not going to eat well. If you're really highly stressed, you're probably not going to work out, right? If you're stressed, you're probably not going to want to better yourself in that moment, right? So what we do as part of the wellness is after the pretty much during the classes towards the end we do breathing exercises, we do some meditation, and then we do a little announcement, and then we talk to the members about mindset, about just how to better their lives. And our motto is like 1% better every day, right? Whether that's working on your body, whether it's working on your business, reading, or whatever it may be, just look to get 1% better every day, and by the end of a year you're 365% better, right?
No, I love that, man. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about the gamification, because I know that you're, and I tell people this all the time, don't just start a business that already exists. You got to figure out what's different about yours and why is yours going to be better. And you guys the name comes from gamification. And I've taken some classes there. I've seen how you treat people with the encouragement, and they earn badges and they earn rewards. Tell me a bit about how that came about, and is that still a part of this next version of Level Up?
Yes, so that's always going to be a part of it. So so the reason why we made that a part of it, right, is because we want people to understand that fitness is not just your goal, right? Nutrition is not just like your goal that you do. It's not something you just do one time and then that's it, right? I wish we can just eat one good meal and one workout and boom, abs, everything, right?
Sign
But
me up.
it doesn't work like that. All the good things in life, you got to be consistent, right? It's the same thing with your health, your nutrition, right? It's a lifestyle, right? So we have to look for ways to do this for the rest of our lives, right? So if there's something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, you got to be passionate about it. You got to find ways to make it fun, right? And that's the purpose of it. So we're big in making it a community. So we do different fun finishers at the end. We do fun little games. We have badges. We have a Level Up app, so you can unlock badges. We do like fun competitions, and we throughout the year, we'll join an obstacle course race. We have a dodgeball tournament coming next month, right? So we just do fun things just to keep people engaged, keep them with the Level Up mindset.
Yeah, awesome, man. It's fun, man. And I've seen it, and you've got all of the graphics, and of course I love the color palette you chose for your business. I'm a big fan of red as well. What changes did you have to make to your business model, like during the pandemic, that you think will stay going forward? Like, did you discover anything that's just a better way to do things as a result of having to pivot in some cases?
Yeah. So some of the changes we had to make was, just we were doing it before, but there's a heavy consciousness of just making sure everybody's wiping and sanitizing down everything, right? So we're conscious, we're making sure that's part of the system, and we would drill that for everyone to do. Making sure people wash their hands afterwards, because some people, after they work out, they go right to their car, right? So it's like, hey, wash your hands before you leave, right? Sanitize, right? So I think the cleanliness is a good part of it, right? Because people were getting sick before COVID, right? The flu, colds, like that was the thing that was still happening, right? So I think that was good, but also we made our classes 6 feet apart. So we have these stickers to make sure people are apart. And within doing that, we condensed our classes. So we had about like 20 people per class. Now we have about 12 people per class. So we changed up our model a bit. So with having less people in the class, we have more time to develop them in other aspects, not just fitness. So which is, making sure they're doing the meditation, talking to them, implementing nutrition and different changes. So every week we have something called an action plan that we have for them, and then we say, okay, what behavior change you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, what challenges you may face. And so what this does, it gets people into the mentality of figuring out what they're going to do and having a roadmap to actually make those changes. So, and that's been giving us good results.
Awesome. Do you have a level up success story that you want to share? Maybe somebody who, I don't know, came in to see you and was in rough shape, and they made it, like, it's got to be rewarding, right? To see somebody transform in front of your eyes that's really stuck to your program.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of success stories. So I want to give a shout out to Shadia's one. So she came in last year. She was overweight. She wasn't fit. She was new to working out. She never worked out consistently. So now she's there consistently. She lost well over 30 pounds. She's toned, she's strong. Before she couldn't do a push-up. Now she's cranking out 30 push-ups. So yeah, it's amazing the transformation and the changes we get to see, so I'm grateful.
Awesome, man. Well, if you had a crystal ball for Level Up in the future of it, where do you see it looking like? Where do you go from here?
So the future we see with this, right, is so we implemented the nonprofit, so we're Level Up Community Gym. So the goal is to really make an impact on the community, right? So we want to change. So we researched the community's health needs assessment, right? And the data between Bridgeport, Stratford, where we had the worst outcomes, right? So our main mission is to change those health outcomes, right? And we want to decrease the obesity rate. We want to make changes where we can have people eating healthier. We have people working out consistently, and our people living longer. And so that's the goal. And so through that, what I love about fitness is, and what I love about habits, right? If you can change one good habit, you can influence other habits, right? So if you're working out, you're more than likely to start you're gonna want to eat better, right? You're working out, eating better. You might want to start meditating, right? Working out, eating better, meditating. You might want to start reading, right? So it's like this. It's just an upward spiral of positivity that we can create in someone's life.
Yeah, I love that, man. Upward spiral, because we always hear the downward spiral.
Yeah.
So an upward spiral. Do you have any books you recommend that I recently purchased Atomic Habits. I'm supposed to be getting that today. Everybody was recommending it to me, and I was like, okay, I guess I gotta read it. But do you have any that you think of that might help our listeners?
So if we're talking about Atomic Habits is great. But I would say one of the best books that I read it's basically like the operational manual, right? Mm-hmm. And it's called The Compound Effect, right? So if you can understand the compound effect, you can be successful in anything you do, right? And whether that's fitness, eating better, a business, your relationship, whatever it is, right? So this understanding the mechanics of the compound effect essentially is what you put in, you're gonna reap what you sow, right? So it goes back on that 1% better every day, that model. right? So it's either you're compounding effect in a positive way or a negative way, right? So it's like if you have bad debt, right? It's you're that if you're not paying it off, that interest rate it's piling up, right? So, but put your money away into a savings or an investment that compounds over time, in 20, 30 years, you can have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. So same thing with our habits, right? You read 10 pages a day, you do 10 pages a day, you can get through 12 books with 10 pages there, right? It starts to compound.
Right.
So, and you can apply that to every area of your life.
That's great advice, man. Now, I know in your industry, you must hear a lot of excuses as to like why somebody doesn't work out or doesn't think they should. But what's the number one excuse that you hear, and what's your answer to them?
Time. So
I don't have time to work out.
Time is the number one excuse. So my answer to that is if the common denominator in your life is you, right? So you have to go to work, you have to take care of your kids, you have to work on your business or whatever it may be, right? So if you're not taking care of you, how could you do all the rest of these things to your best of your ability?
Right.
You can't, right? So it's important to carve out time for yourself, right? Because if you are a better you have more energy, you have more confidence, you have health, because if you don't have health, you can have all the relationships in the world, you have all the money in the world, sick in bed, you're gonna be miserable, right? So if you're not taking care of you, you're not being as effective as you can, right? So taking care of yourself, it's only 3% of your day. It's 1 hour a day. There's one hour of the day out of those 24, right? There's 168 hours in the week. Give me 3 hours of those. That's it.
You're not asking for much.
It's not much.
Man. All right. Well, that's great, man. So tell us what your ideal client looks like, and what's the best way to reach you? Like, do you want them to come to your website? You want them to call you? Can people stop by?
Yeah. So our ideal client is someone who is either overweight or who wants to get fit, and they're having trouble staying consistent in the gym, right? So whether they try to go one of these big box gyms and they're paying their $10, their $20, their $50 every month that they're not using, right? So we provide that direction, we provide that accountability for you, and we're not successful if you're not successful, right? We have a month-to-month membership, right? So we're not trying to sign you up for 2 years and have you not come, right? We want to make sure that you're getting results. So you can reach us at our website, www.levelupcommunity.org, or you can reach us on Instagram at Level Up Community Gym.
All right. Awesome, Malcolm. Thank you, man. And you definitely personify fitness. I love your content. I love what you're putting out there, and you genuinely care. And that's why I think you're successful. And I love the fact that you're helping your mom, and that everybody in your family is an entrepreneur, and just helping each other out, and you're helping the community. So I wish you all the success in the world, and we consider you partners here with PD. So appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you. And if I can add one last thing.
Absolutely.
Nothing great comes from one individual by themselves. So I definitely want to give a shout out to the Level Up Community Board. They help out tremendously. I want to shout out my wife Ileana, who's just been with me day to day, struggling with me, building up, and going through the ups and downs. And I want to thank my brother-in-law Steve, who's been with the Level Up project from the very beginning, pouring his heart and his time to this project. You know, his passion is community as well. So, you know, without all these people, you know, and you know, and you guys, you know, PD, you guys help to, you know, donate your time many times over to, you know, help us, you know, build up our marketing, our brand, and you know, we appreciate you and we love you.
Yeah, man, we love you too, man. Thanks for being on the show, Malcolm.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands.
Thank you for taking this journey with us. To learn more about Peralta Design and our work, go to www.peraltadesign.com and subscribe to keep up with the crew.